So this is the coffee setup that I use for my morning coffee or afternoon coffee. I have a frother. It's made by a company called Gaggia. This is a really good frother. I've been really impressed with it, and it doesn't cost any more than most of the others. It has a little spinner gadget inside. It has two settings, either heated or just spin. I use them both, so I'll heat the milk, and if I'm not quite ready to put the shot in, I'll just put it on spin to keep the froth all mixed together. This is the Compresso burr grinder. I've got some, those are Starbucks, they call them Veranda. It's a, what do they call it? Just happen to have the bag here. Veranda blend. You can see it's a blonde. They call it a light roast, but the beans are just a light brown. They're not the black, deep brown that you see for the normal Starbucks stuff. That's my knock box that Jay made for me. Well, he bought the insert and made the box. And underneath, I'll show you what I've done with this thing. So there is they call it the shower head. That's that screen, and then that's connected to, I don't remember the part it's called, but it's the bottom of the boiler, and it disperses the coffee into the shower head. It also has a valve that relieves the pressure, so when you're making the coffee, it's pressured up to about 15 bar, and then when you turn the switch off, it dumps the excess pressure through this overflow tube or a relief tube into the sump here, so that you can actually, it would be too tight to turn the portafilter otherwise. Now, also, this is my upgraded portafilter. It has, more uniform holes on the bottom to improve the dispersal. The original one that came with it is, let's see, got some here. So this is the one that came with it. The new one doesn't have that tapered bottom, but you can see this one also has a whole mess of little holes in it. This one is the same thing. Let's see. Here's one. This is one they call their Super Crema. What it does is it has a double layer bottom, so you can see the screen on the inside, but on the outside there's just one single little bitty hole right in the middle. And what that does is it makes the coffee shoot in at higher velocity, so that it can aerate it through a little nozzle that is in the bottom of the, here's this little nozzle in here. You can see it's got a hole in the center, and then it has that hole in the side, so when the high velocity water comes shooting through, it sucks air in with it to improve the crema on the top of the shot. But I get a really good crema with this one. Really, if you have a good pack on it, it'll work fine. It's pretty straightforward, just an on-off switch, and then this one in the middle, you press that to make it steam instead of having water come out, and the steam would come out through the wand over here, and this knob controls it. I don't use that. I've lost a little nozzle that goes on the steam wand. The new ones have 3 separate switches. They call it a Classic Pro, they moved the coffee dosing button over in the middle, and then they put the steam on the right. They also have a cutout in the new one has a cutout in the stainless steel, so about a ½ an inch bigger. This side is opened up about a ½ an inch larger, so that you can see from the side, you can see the level of the water in the sump, and that's a little easier to see. It's really, well, you can just barely see the level down here. It's hard. You get reflections and stuff. You can see there's some tubes inside that suck it up into the pump, but you can either pull all this, the drain pan out, and then that allows you to pull this this whole sump out of the. No, you get it from the bottom, but you can pull that sump out to clean it, or they call it a reservoir. Or in the mornings it's a lot easier just to put the coffee in the top there. Doesn't look like that one got rinsed. So that's pretty much the coffee maker. I'll put some coffee in there fired up and show you what it does. So here you can see, I've got some coffee already ground from my Compresso burr grinder. What I do is, you can put this on a scale and measure it, but I get a pretty consistent grind. So I found that just a level spoonful will work. I put 2 of those in. I have this funnel as well that I usually put that on first. But anyway, so we'll level out a second one and drop it in. And then this funnel just basically keeps me from making as big a mess. What I do is, this is my tamper. That's a all solid stainless steel. It's pretty heavy. I put a lot of force on it, and I usually have to do this with 2 hands. But what I've found is, if I wiggle it around or kind of rotate the top of it, it'll help kind of disperse and even out the coffee inside. And you can thump it, but hopefully that was enough. I'm going to push it a little more by hand with both hands. What you see though is my tamper pretty much is level with the top rim of the basket, and that's what I have found from experimenting is a good solid tamp. If I fill it up, then I just put it in place and lock it on, and I'll leave it on for a minute or so before I pump it, just to kind of warm the holder up. I have these little glasses that Jay gave me. You can see the dosing on there. It's 1 ounce and 2 ounce. So I go up to the 2 ounces. This thing makes a double shot. Another thing I do is to put a little orange zest or peel in with it. I need both hands to do that. So I just drop the orange peel down into the glass, and then we'll fire it up and watch it brew. I do a quick just on-off to kind of pre-infuse the coffee. So this is coming out a little fast. I probably didn't pack it quite tight enough, but it'll have to do. We still got a pretty good crema on it. And that's about how it works. See how it tastes? Yeah, it's not too bad. Not bad at all, actually. And that's about it. Oh, I'll show you real quick how I clean it. So You just drop that portafilter off, and then tap it lightly, and all the coffee just drops out into Jay's knock box. And then I do a quick rinse. You can see the water. Now, I'll show you one other gadget that I bought. I'll rinse that out separately. I have several of these portafilter holders from older machines that didn't live. So this one you can see is blank. You put that on there, and when you turn it on, you hear the pump kind of charge up and dead end. When I turn it off, watch what happens to the overflow. So that overflow releases the pressure, but that blank, what it does is it charges up, fills up inside, and then when the relief opens up, it back flushes that hot water back through the drain to clear out any extra coffee that may have backed through there. So that's a handy little gadget to have too. You can put I put sodium hydroxide in it to help clean it out better, but you don't have to do that. And then when I'm drinking my espresso, I like to have a little something sweet with it, maybe a cinnamon Biscoff, or I've got a batch of these stroopwafels. That's Dutch for syrup waffle, and those are pretty good as well.